Next time you're in your car, look at the dashboard. You'll notice the dial goes all the way up to probably 260 kilometers per hour. Now ask yourself a question. Why? You're never going to reach that speed. If you try to reach even half of that speed, you're going to get pulled over, you'll lose your license, and you're probably going to go to jail. If the engineer actually cared about your safety and your wallet, they would cap the speed at 130 kilometers per hour. On most highways, that is probably as high as the speed limit goes. 120 kilometers per hour. The engines would be smaller, the materials would be lighter, the manufacturing costs would plummet, and fuel efficiency would be, it would be something else. The car would cost a fraction of what it probably cost you when you bought it. The automotive industry realized that they cannot sell a metal box for $60,000 based on pure utility. They can't sell practical efficiency to the human ego. So they hired the artist, the designer. The designer knows that you are stuck in traffic. He knows that you're driving to a cubicle, and he knows that your life, your reality, is safe and boring and highly regulated. So they sell you a fantasy. They sell you, a secondary reality. When you buy a car and the top speed is 260 kilometers per hour, you're not really buying a mode of transportation. You are investing in a fantasy of limitless potential. The 260 kilometers per hour is purely psychological bait to make you feel like you could break the chains of society if you wanted to. It's for the dopamine hit of knowing that you could outrun everyone on the highway if you really wanted to. The artist bypasses your needs, what you require, and speaks directly to the ego. They convince you to pay a massive financial premium for a feature that you are legally not allowed to use. The car will also be advertised as going from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds or whatever. This is the funniest part of the whole marketing scam. Car commercials love to 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, with dramatic music in the background. Why do you need to launch yourself from 0 to 60 that fast? Are you escaping a missile strike? If you are at a red light and you're stopped and you decide to, let me go to 60 when the light turns green, you're going to hit a car that's taking a turn in front of you, or you're going to crash into a mailbox. You think you're buying performance, but all you're doing is you're letting a multi-million-dollar corporation let you play make-believe. All you have is a 4,000-pound emotional pacifier that makes you feel a little better while you're stuck in the same traffic jam as everybody else. It's the exact same psychology as the aggressive headlights on modern cars. The designer makes the car look like a predator, so the person driving it feels like a predator. Think about the names they give to cars. A car is just a 4,000-pound steel box made out of metal, glass, and plastic. It has no personality. It takes you from one building to another building. But the designer knows that you're not going to shell out all that money over a steel box with no personality. So what do they name it? Ford Bronco, Chevy Bison, Ford Mustang, Dodge Charger, Chevy Impala, Jaguar, Dodge Ram, Ford Raptor, Spider. And which Spider? Ferrari Spider? McLaren Spider? Fiat Spider? Which one? Alfa Romeo Spider? They love spiders. Dodge Viper, Chevy Corvette Stingray, Hellcat. Why are we naming commuter vehicles after apex predators and deadly animals? Because that is what design is. What is design? Design is what happens when you take something functional and add flourishes to craft a narrative so you can get people to buy your product instead of your competitors. By the way, this is all based on my book, The Artist is the Enemy. If you find this is slowly starting to change the way you think, the book will alter your worldview permanently. The link is below. They build a steel box with rubber wheels, and because they cannot differentiate between the utility of their metal box and another company's metal box, they slap the identity of a wild killer on it. They give personality to an inanimate object. They try to convince a middle management accountant that by sitting in their specific metal box, he takes on the spirit of a jaguar. A jaguar is a masterpiece fine-tuned by millions of years of evolution. The camouflage of its coat, the density of its bones, the wild natural instinct it has in its brain exists for a purpose. To stalk prey, to sprint, to crush a windpipe, procreate, and survive, hopefully, another day in a hostile jungle. It's nature operating at its rawest limit. Then you have the man who buys a luxury vehicle named Jaguar. It's a steel box with a picture of a jaguar's head on the front. He gets inside the steel box with his heated seats, adjusts his climate control to 21 degrees Celsius of the air conditioning, puts on a podcast, and cruises down a perfectly paved, city-maintained asphalt road. So he'll show up at a brightly lit supermarket where the lights are designed to make the fruits look prettier. Then he'll walk over to the refrigerated section, pick up a piece of chicken that has been factory slaughtered, mechanically cleaned, sliced up, and wrapped neatly in styrofoam and plastic. He taps his plastic credit card against the digital terminal. He loads up his nice and clean, bloodless meat into the back of his Jaguar, and he drives home. But at least he is taking on the spirit of a jaguar as he goes and gets his plastic wrapped food.